All right, everybody. Obviously very disappointed in the final score today. Credit to Tampa. Obviously, they're the defending champs for a reason, NFC South champs for a reason. As I told our team, just kind of where we are. I thought our guys played hard. Thought our defense kept going out and answering the call in the second half when we were trying to be aggressive to get back into the game and going for fourth down and bad field position. I thought our defense held the line and gave us a chance to get the ball back, and just unfortunately we're not able to get down there and get in the end zone and score touchdowns. I thought both quarterbacks went in, gave all they had, competed. It was a better day throwing the ball for us, but at the end of the day we gave up 7 sacks, and so we were at times overwhelmed by both their pressure package and their 4-man rush, and so I'll have to go back and watch the tape before I can comment too much, but their pass rush certainly was a major factor in the game. I thought Antonio Brown played really well for them. We struggled with him at times. Gilly going down and then CJ going down obviously exacerbated that. I Phil did a nice job of trying to find some zone pressures. We were able to get to the quarterback, but unfortunately we're not able to cause any turnovers. So with that, I'll see what questions you guys have.
Coach, your decision and the announcement that you would play both quarterbacks today had a lot of criticism, mainstream media and then the fans today with the boos when Sam went in. Can you kind of give us a little bit of insight on how you went? Did the game go the way that you had planned as far as how many snaps each guy would play at the timing of Sam entering the game?
Yeah, we planned on putting Sam in the second or third series. Obviously Cam did a great job on the first drive, led us down the field, scored a touchdown, just like we had a chance to score a touchdown, scored a field goal just like we thought he would. I think the second drive we moved the ball on third down, and then we had the interception, right, which led to points for them. So we put Sam in, and that was really just as I said, a lot of respect for Cam Newton, what he brings to the table. He had the explosive run, a lot of things that he can do. We also want to see what Sam can do. And Sam got in there. I thought he showed mental toughness. He's being booed by the home fans, and went out and made an explosive play. So, from where he was early on to where he was now, I think he finished 14 of 27 with the hand in me. A lot of those kind of under duress, so I thought he was effective. I think both quarterbacks, though, as you look at it, to get 7 sacks and all that, I think they both had to, it's hard to evaluate how they played without really watching the tape.
So to just be clear, regardless of the interception, it was always the plan to put Sam in on the third or fourth series?
What I said was our second or third series, we'd hope to put him in. But again, I don't want to make promises. We say, hey, this is what I'm planning on doing. Both guys knew that. We kind of see how the game played out. Put Cam back in the second half. I'm hoping that his combination of throwing and running could give us a spark. Got to be like a 2 or 3 score game, so we put Sam back in, and at the end it was truly just kind of a drop back game. So put Sam in that situation and see how he would respond. He moved us. We just weren't able to put those balls in the red zone down inside the 20. But I certainly think he did move us. Had a chance for the touchdown to Amir. We weren't able to connect on that one. I saw a lot of good things from Sam today that we needed to see.
Matt, do you feel like this is the lack of offense, is it a quarterback issue? Is it an offensive line issue? Where do you kind of put this right now?
Yeah, I'm not a big hey, it's just this, but I think when you have 7 sacks, you have to say, okay, obviously, we've been talking about the offensive line all year. There's been games where we haven't had sacks, and I thought we had a chance to win those games. When you get behind in a game like this, you're not really running the football at a high level unless you run the quarterback. You get behind in a game like this, and they're kind of able to tee off. You're having to throw it every down. We're just not quite built for that yet. It's just where we are. As you guys know, we used a lot of draft picks and capital on pass rushers in the D line. Guys on the O line, a lot of guys are out. Paradis is out. These guys had to step up. Elfline went out. Tecklenburg stepped in today. I can't comment on how anyone played, without seeing the tape. But I'm sure they'd be the first to say, giving up 7 sacks, that's you're not going to win any games for doing that. So I don't want to point at any one thing. It just obviously wasn't good enough. Defense, usually plays well enough to give us at least a chance to win. Offensively, we've continued to struggle.
Man, I know there's not many Tom Brady's out there, but they were down a lot of weapons today, and yet they still managed to be very productive offensively. What's that say about where you guys are at quarterback with your situation and the importance of having that stability in that position?
Well, I would first say with the way that they're constructed, you look across the line, they've invested in the offensive line, and those guys are all out there playing. And again, I don't want to say anything that sounds like I'm criticizing our guys. I'm just talking about the way that they built their team. They still have Rob Gronkowski out there. They have Cameron Brate. They have O.J. Howard, who's their third tight end, who's first-round draft pick out of Alabama. So they've got good weapons. Scotty Miller, Antonio Brown today to me was the difference for them. I think he went 10 for 100 yards. So he hasn't been out there. So you lose Godwin, but insert him. And Tom Brady, he's been in the Super Bowl 10 times. I mean, it's just we would bring pressure. He'd slide step out of the way. He found guys that were open. They were able to run the football well today at times. So I think he's just he's a really, really special player, and he's got the right group in front of him. He's got enough weapons outside that he can be successful. So, I think I said to you guys earlier this week, that team struggled for several years, and they acquired a lot of pieces. And then the quarterback showed up, and Gronk showed up, and Antonio Brown showed up, and now they're one of the best teams in the league. And so, we're not them yet. We're aspiring to be them. We're trying to add pieces as we go and develop guys and draft guys and sign guys, and we hope that we can get there. So it's painful while it's there. I understand everyone's frustration. I'll say this: the people at Tampa Bay were frustrated 2 years ago, 3 years ago, but they stayed true to what they did, and it's working out. But Tom Brady is by far. I'm going to say this: he's special beyond special.
You said you told the team this is just kind of where you are right now. What did you mean by that?
I thought that they played hard. I said, this is where we're at right now. We didn't play well enough to win, and we've got to keep grinding to get better. We don't not in terms of like an excuse or anything. It's like, hey, I have no issues with your effort. I mean, it's hard to say these things after a loss, right? Because my first thing is we never accept losing, but like to have guys, to wake up this morning and find out, hey, basically your special teams captain and third receiver can't play. To wake up yesterday and find out that, hey, your corner who plays, your second corner can't play. Other guys just kind of get signed off the practice squad, ready to go. I'm proud of all those things. To me, everyone sees the results. I get it, but there's a process happening underneath that, everyone's kind of looking at it like, well, it's not working, Matt. It's not working, Matt. And I'm just saying, like, when I see all the good things that are happening, I'm like, I believe that it is. So I was proud of their effort. I was proud of the defense to keep them. I mean, the defense could have been like, man, the offense is terrible today, and they could have let them score 2 more touchdowns. But they went out there and they played coverage and they got to Brady and they stopped them and all those things. And then the offense, DJ Moore's been hurt all week. Robbie, they took us right down the field, and we had a 4th down throw in the end zone to try to win the game. So when I say this is kind of where we're at right now, just meaning look, they're the defending champs. We're chasing that. Like, we want to be that, and I'm not going to apologize that we're not there yet. I'm saying, like, I know the work that everyone's putting in to get there, right? To get to where they are. So I don't want our guys to apologize for the work that they're putting in. We just have to work harder and continue to work and get better. And I think it says a lot about the team that they're not quitting. You sit there and you look around and you're sitting on the sidelines and you're talking to Dante and Christian and a lot of those guys. I mean, a lot of guys for our team have stepped up, young players, and so I hope, Joe, that it builds a basis of depth that guys like Stanley Thomas Oliver are out there today covering, and C.J. Henderson's covering, because those will be the guys that really build, when those other guys come back, build the depth of the team. So.
Do you anticipate Sam Darnold starting?
I have no anticipation right now, anything. There was not much out there today that I was like, oh, why did we do this? You know what I mean? Like, obviously we don't want to have an interception. Obviously, one play with Sam, it looked like it was a fumble that got away from him. But until I see the tape, I mean, I'd have to, most of the game, the feelings I had on the field were about a couple open receivers that we didn't hit, and then we're about protecting the quarterback. So I can't comment yet right now about what it will be moving forward.
Obviously, not many teams play 2 quarterbacks. Do you feel that at all mess with the rhythm?
I don't think anyone wants to play 2 quarterbacks. Some teams have in the past. Some teams do in small regimens. No team wants to do it. We're not winning, and so we weren't winning that game. And so we were trying to see who could spark us and light us and move the ball down the field. we know so much of what Cam can do. We have this kind of spotty pictures of what Sam can do. You know, we saw him early in the year look like starting quarterback in the NFL. Like we saw him in the middle struggle. Then today, I think he showed a lot of moxie. Again, it's hard to go out there and have, you know, be at home and be booed. And, you know, the first thing he did was create an explosive. I thought he had more pocket awareness, timing, all those things. And then, you know, Cam, the competitor that he is, the leader that he is, I mean, he comes right back in the second half. He's not pouting about it. Neither one of them should be happy about what's happening right now. Neither one of them. And I'm sure they're not. But when you sit down and you talk to Cam Newton and you sit down and talk to Sam Darnold, especially when you talk to Cam Newton, he's a competitor and he just wants to be coached hard and he wants to win. So, you know, we have a lot to figure out just about, you know, who can do what. And so I'll have to watch the tape and hopefully give you guys better answers during the week.
How do you feel about the booing? You know, to hear fans boo the team or boo players. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I come from Philadelphia. You know, to me, it shows that people care. Walking off the field, people booing. We're not winning. I have no problem with that. People spent their hard-earned money to come watch us play. You know, it's part of it. When you're the head coach, when you're the quarterback, you know, it is. You know, that's all part of it, and it makes it that much better when you win, right? But I would much prefer passion over apathy, and I'd much prefer pressure over nothing, right? I mean, I could, you know, I could do something else. So I think our fans have been great. You know, they support us, and sometimes you need to be booed. You know, now for Sam, I hate it for him because all he's done is played hard and got hurt. He's just, you know, he's just not Cam, right? And what Cam means to so many people. You know, but that's Sam was able to handle that. So I have no issue with our fans. What the fans deserve is they deserve a winner. And they saw a really good team early in the year, and they're not seeing it right now. And so I understand their frustration. What I believe is happening is I believe that we've undergone a lot of things, and a lot of things are growing within the program. I believe it's going to take off at some point. But my job is to win today, and I wasn't able to do it. So my job is to go to New Orleans next week and win. I have to find a way to do that. So that's why I always have kind of a dual perspective, right? I see the work, I see the improvements, I see the things that we're doing, I see the growth on defense, I see the growth on special teams, I see, you know, Larry shows up on Wednesday and makes a field goal today. I see all these things, that unique situations that no one's ever really, no one's ever really had a kicking tryout before a game. So we've had such a unique year in that way. So I see the way the guys overcome it. All that being said, we lost, and you are what your record says you are. And so, you know, I shouldn't be booed as I walk off the field. Obviously, I never want our players to be booed. You know what I mean? But that's for them. I mean, we're the men in the arena. This is what happens. So I think our fans are great.
There's the potential. There's a potential that they were booing the decision to take Cam out. Because, you know,
potentially, yeah.
Did you ever, given that this could have been his last home game, did you ever consider putting him back in for any kind of career? Yeah,
I don't see a Cam as anything other than a competitor, and I wasn't going to put him in some sort of gratuity. I don't think he would want that. I think he wants to come back tomorrow and go compete to play next week. I think he's been against all of that, right? And so part of this for me, like, this is like Cam's like game number 6 for us, right? So like we're you know, he hasn't had like the full, you know. So when I sit there and say, hey, I want to see Sam, I also want to see Cam. You know what I mean? I want to see where he's at in his career and the good things that he can do. And, you know, I mean, I know the great things that he's done, and I've seen the flashes of all the great things that he's done this year. It's hard to play quarterback when you're getting hit. I mean, this is what's, we all talk about one position, but it's all these things around it too. So I haven't done a good enough job as the head coach to allow Cam and Sam and PJ to be successful, because they don't have 200 yards rushing next to them, and they don't have a clean pocket and all those things. I understand completely why people are like, why are we going back and forth between these two guys? And it's just, it's a targeted decision that I understand is not popular, but it feels like it's what's best for the Carolina Panthers right now. And I think, I hope both players respect it. Is it hard for them to get in rhythm? I'm sure. At the same time, you know, great players, you know, when you're called on, you go out there. And Sam was called on, he went out there, he took us right down the field. Cam took us right down the field his first drive. So to me, it's about the O-line, the running backs, the receivers, the whole system, all the things that we have to improve upon, allowing our quarterbacks to also be successful. I would hate to ever drop anything on any one person, especially someone that's been here for just a couple weeks.
It's the last one. fans are obviously frustrated, and maybe you answered this in your previous, but how do you explain to them that the process is working?
Yeah, I don't know that I can say. I don't know that anyone wants to hear that, nor should they. You know, I just think when you look at most teams that start over, you know, in terms of like last year, you guys would call it a rebuild. And I'd always try not to use that word. I'm like, well, you know, we're building, but like when you walk in the building and you know Luke Kuechly leaves and James Bradbury leaves and all these people leave, they're not and you're kind of like, okay, who's left over? It's like you ever see the Will Smith Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? Where he's kind of looking around the house like. A lot of people left, and it's like, okay, we got to start over. And so I hate it for our fans that we're not winning, and I know how much they want to win. I hear it from them. You know, I hear you. But when Dave hired me, he said that I want it done right. I want it done for the long term. I want you to build it with young players that grow. So like when I look out on the field and I see the Jeremy Chins and the Stanley Thomas Olivers and the Miles Hartsfields and all these guys, like sometimes you're not ready to win with a ton of first and second year players. But they're growing up in this system. They're growing up with the way that we do things, and I believe that we've seen flashes of what we can be. We saw flashes at Arizona. I think when you start over, and you, as people have written articles, you didn't have a great 2019 draft, and we lost a lot of good players. Like it takes a couple drafts to get there. So I don't say any of that as excuses. I say that as this is the plan. The plan was never like, hey, year two, like even when we won the first 3 games, it was like, man, we have so many things we have to fix. And so to go into this year and to lose Christian and, you know, we said, hey, coming this year, we said, hey, we'll go as far as, you know, we play well in the O-line and the quarterback position. And we've played 3 quarterbacks. There's nothing against any of them. Just we don't have stability there because of the way the year's gone. Offensive line-wise, we haven't had stability there. So I see why people could say, hey, it's not working, you're losing. You know, and some of these games like this 32-6, like, come on, it doesn't even look like it's close. I completely understand that. But what we did was we made a decision to build it from the ground up with young players, and young players make a lot of mistakes sometimes, and you know, we brought in targeted veterans. I think we'll hit free agency in the draft, and we will re-sign a bunch of the players that are here that have been through it for a couple of years for us. I think when you look at guys, I'll finish with this, I think you look at the success that some players in this have, because when you come from college, okay, is he a college coach, is he a college coach? Like, I see the success Curtis Samuel had when a career year for us, and he went and signed well. Man, Hurts, you know, these guys were good players beforehand, but I see the guys that are coming up now, they're going to be big dollar free agents for us. A lot of guys are having a lot of individual success and having their best years playing for us. If you just keep doing that and keep adding the right pieces, then eventually everyone, you know, you have a really good team. So we have some key areas that we have to fix, whether that's to coach them better, to do a better job organizationally better. But I believe it's 1,000% working. I just know no one can see it, and I apologize. I tell our team all the time, it took Jay-Z like 7 years. it took him 7 years. He had to start his own agency to become famous, to become an overnight sensation. Like, it takes time. But I will finish by saying I respect the fight. I respect C.J. Saunders waking up this morning and being like, oh, you guys need me? I'll be at the hotel in 5 minutes. We have a good group, so there's some good, healthy things happening. We've got to win some games. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays.
Thank you, Coach.